Here are 25 Switch 2 games with graphics so good they barely look real on a handheld. Let us get straight into it. Starting with number 1, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is hands down one of the most visually stunning games on any platform right now. Samus returns in a first-person sci-fi adventure with lighting and environmental detail that genuinely look next-gen. The alien ecosystems are dense and beautifully rendered. The frame rate hits up to 120 FPS in docked mode, and every room feels like concept art brought to life. Critics have called it one of the best-looking Nintendo games in years, and it absolutely earns that title. Right at number 2 is Mario Kart World, and if you dismissed it as just another kart racer, take a second look at how this game actually runs on Switch 2. The open-world track design is lush and wildly detailed, with dynamic weather, seamless transitions between courses, and a cartoon art style that pops with color at every turn. It is visually underrated in the broader conversation about graphic showcases, but this is Nintendo hardware flex disguised as a family game. Game number 3, Donkey Kong Bananza, showed up and immediately became one of the best-looking Switch 2 exclusives available. The destructible terrain system is not just a gimmick, it is a real technical achievement that lets DK smash through mountains and carve underground paths in real time. Each world has a completely different visual identity, all of them gorgeously rendered with smooth performance and a level of environmental richness that the original Switch simply could not have handled. Fourth on the list is Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, which is an achievement that still feels almost impossible when you hold it in your hands. Night City on a handheld device, running at a playable frame rate with adaptive resolution and DLSS upscaling doing serious heavy lifting is a sight to see. The neon-soaked streets, detailed NPC crowds, and massive open world all make this one of the most impressive technical ports in gaming history, and it is fully playable from your couch or on the go. Number 5 is the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 Edition, and this upgrade is not just a minor bump. Nintendo overhauled the lighting, improved shadows, pushed the resolution higher, and locked the frame rate to a smooth 60 FPS with HDR support. If you played the original on Switch 1 and thought it looked beautiful then, this version makes that look like a rough draft. Spending 70 hours in Hyrule at this visual quality is one of the best gaming experiences available on the system right now. At number 6, Resident Evil Requiem arrives on Switch 2 with photorealistic visuals that honestly have no business running on a handheld as well. The horror atmosphere is built on detailed environments, precise lighting, and smooth performance that brings the scares to life in ways the original Switch never could. Switching between stealth puzzles and intense combat while the game looks this good makes every moment feel cinematic. It runs impressively close to the PlayStation and Xbox versions in terms of raw visual output. Number 7 is Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, which packs the complete experience, including Shadow of the Erdtree, into one release on Switch 2. The sprawling open world of the lands between translates surprisingly well to the platform, with DLSS upscaling helping maintain image clarity through the game's epic vistas and intricately designed boss arenas. Performance is not flawless, but it is absolutely playable, and experiencing From Software's masterpiece on a portable device feels like a genuine luxury for fans. Coming in at number 8, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade brings Square Enix's stunning reimagining of Midgar to the Switch 2, and the results are impressive. The detailed character models, dramatic lighting during combat, and rich environmental storytelling all hold up remarkably well on Nintendo's hardware. For players who missed it on PlayStation, this is a legitimate way to experience one of the best RPGs of the last decade, with visuals that genuinely justify the hardware upgrade from the original Switch. 9 goes to Hollow Knight Silksong, the long-awaited sequel from Team Cherry that finally launched and found a perfect home on Switch 2. The handcrafted art style is more detailed and expressive than its predecessor, running beautifully at higher frame rates on the new hardware. Every biome feels distinct and richly illustrated, and the fluid animation on Hornet's movement makes it one of the most visually satisfying action games on the platform, regardless of your feelings about the art versus realism debate. At number 10, Hogwarts Legacy launched as a Switch 2 title, and it is one of the clearest examples of what separates this hardware from the original. The open-world recreation of Hogwarts and its surrounding regions is dense with detail, atmospheric lighting, and dynamic spell effects that all struggled on older hardware. Walking through the castle corridors in handheld mode with this level of visual fidelity genuinely feels like the platform has grown up into something capable of delivering real AAA open-world experiences without compromise. Number 11 is Hades 2, which proves that a game does not need to be a graphical showcase in the traditional sense to look absolutely incredible. Supergiant's art direction is some of the best in the business, and the sequel pushes their signature style further with richer environments, more elaborate character designs, and silky smooth animation at high frame rates on Switch 2. Every room in the underworld looks hand-painted and alive, making it one of the most visually cohesive and beautiful games in the entire library. 12 is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Edition, which offers a different kind of visual upgrade compared to Tears of the Kingdom, but is no less impressive for returning players. The cel-shaded art style that made this game timeless now benefits from higher resolution and a locked 60 FPS, breathing new life into Hyrule's open plains and mountain peaks. If you have never played it, this is the definitive version, and even veterans will notice how much smoother and sharper the whole experience feels. Game number 13 is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, a spin-off that uses the Switch 2's power to push hundreds of enemies onto screen at once without breaking sweat visually. The game's purple-hued Hyrule and stylized character design make it one of the most distinctive-looking entries in the Warriors genre, and the smooth performance during massive battle sequences is a real technical flex. It ties directly into the Zelda lore in ways fans will appreciate, and it looks the part throughout. 14 is Borderlands 4, which arrives on Switch 2 with the franchise's signature cel-shaded explosion of color and chaos pushed to new heights. The visual upgrade over previous entries is immediately noticeable in character detail and environmental complexity, and the game runs with impressive consistency on Nintendo's hardware. If you love over-the-top art direction paired with bombastic loot shooter gameplay, this is one of the most visually energetic games in the entire Switch 2 library, and a strong showcase for third-party support. Coming in at number 15 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which brought its massive open-world chapter to Switch 2 and made a statement about what the platform can handle. The Grasslands, Junon, and Costa del Sol regions are all rendered with detail that feels genuinely ambitious for a handheld device. Cloud, Tifa, and the crew look stunning in real-time cutscenes, and the combat system's visual effects during limit breaks and synergy attacks are some of the most spectacular moments you will see on Switch 2 hardware. Number 16 is Split Fiction from the team behind It Takes Two, and it is a co-op visual spectacle that constantly shifts between radically different art styles and world designs. One moment, you are in a photorealistic sci-fi corridor. The next, you are inside a cartoon fairy tale, and the Switch 2 handles every transition without a hitch. The imaginative visual variety here is arguably unmatched in any game on the platform, making it one of the most technically creative and artistically ambitious titles in the library right now. At 17, Kirby Air Riders is the fresher technical showcase among first-party Nintendo titles because it is not rooted in Switch 1 hardware like many of its peers. The game's visuals are bright, fluid, and crafted specifically for Switch 2 capabilities, with character animation and environmental flair that reflects what Nintendo can do when they are not carrying over an older engine. It runs at high frame rates with a polished presentation that makes it one of the better-looking first-party games available today. Number 18 is Street Fighter VI, which launched as a Switch 2 title and immediately proved the platform can handle the demanding visuals of modern fighting games with confidence. The character models are highly detailed, facial animations during special moves are expressive and satisfying, and the drive system's flashy effects look sharp and clean throughout. Capcom put real effort into this port, and the result is one of the smoothest running competitive games on Switch 2 with visuals that hold up well against other console versions. 19 is Hitman World of Assassination, which might surprise you with how good it looks running on Switch 2, given the sheer scale of its sandbox levels. Paris, Sapienza, Dubai, and all the other iconic locations are rendered with impressive detail and crowd density, giving each mission a cinematic quality that makes the stealth gameplay feel even more immersive. The 3-campaign package with freelancer mode included makes this one of the best value propositions on the platform, and a quiet visual achiever. Game number 20 is EA Sports FC 26, and if you want a realistic graphical showcase in a sports context, this is it on Switch 2. Player likenesses, stadium detail, grass rendering, and dynamic weather effects all combine to create one of the most photorealistic presentations in the library. The smooth frame rate during matches keeps the gameplay feeling tight, while the visuals do the heavy lifting in terms of immersion. For soccer fans, this is the best the sport has ever looked on a Nintendo platform by a significant margin. At number 21, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut brings one of the most beloved games in the franchise to Switch 2, with enhanced visuals, smoother frame rates, and all previously released content included. Kamurocho and Sotenbori have never looked better in handheld form, with detailed neon-lit streets and expressive character models that capture the gritty drama the series is famous for. For newcomers, this is one of the finest ways to enter the Yakuza world, and veterans will appreciate the visual glow-up this version delivers. Number 22 is Pokémon Legends ZA on Switch 2, which finally gives the franchise's visual ambitions room to breathe on hardware that can actually support them. The urban Lumio City setting is more detailed and alive than anything in the main series before it, with smoother performance and improved textures that address the persistent technical criticisms fans have had for years. The Switch 2 version runs at a consistent frame rate that makes exploration feel genuinely enjoyable rather than technically strained. Coming in at 23, Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok is a visually spectacular action RPG that brings over 20 playable characters to life with flashy combat effects and a richly designed Skyworld setting. The visual style blends anime aesthetic with high-fidelity rendering in a way that looks particularly striking on Switch 2 screen, and the expansion content adds new environments that push the art direction further than the base game. For fans of action RPGs that prioritize spectacle alongside substance, this one consistently delivers. 24 is The Duskbloods, From Software's Switch 2 exclusive multiplayer action game that stands as one of the most visually distinctive titles the studio has produced. The dark, gothic aesthetic, elaborate character designs, and brutal animation work give it an identity entirely its own, separate from the Soulsborne lineage. Running as a Switch 2 exclusive means it was built for this hardware specifically, and the results show in how polished and visually cohesive the entire experience feels, compared to cross-platform ports. Closing out the list at number 25, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle brings Machine Games' stunning first-person adventure to Switch 2 with a level of visual quality that validates the console's capability for cinematic storytelling. The period-accurate environments, detailed facial capture on Indy and his companions, and dynamic lighting through jungles and ancient temples all look remarkable for a handheld experience. It is a fitting game to close this list because it genuinely feels like a next-gen experience you can play anywhere.